Press record, and we are back. And we are doing the last episode for this season, which is going to put us on notice because we're going to have to figure out the next season. I do think we may into like building better businesses and figure out how to go that route. But we'll see. I think for this one, just talk about like why habits matter. I think that's a pretty good one to dive into, and we'll just sort of have our closing thoughts on that. So we'll do our little 3, 2. Well, hello and welcome back. We are continuing and coincidentally enough, wrapping up this season of Building Better Developers Developreneur podcast. This season has been about building better habits. Hopefully, we've built quite a few. And by we, I mean all of us. I know I have. I know Michael has. Hopefully, the rest of you guys have joined in and have got some better habits along the way as well. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Rob Broadhead, one of the founders of Developreneur, also a founder of RB Consulting, where we go out there and help you wrangle technology. We help you take care of that, figure out that technology sprawl when you're looking out over the wild, wild west of what's out there in your business and you're wondering, where should I spend money? Where did I spend money wrong? Where do I need to leverage what I've already done? Through simplification, automation, innovation, integration, we find ways with you, we craft your special recipe for your business to take all of that technology out there and leverage it so that you can best use it for your business. It is a unique fit for everybody. It's just like a custom suit. I mean, you can go out and you can get like, low-end clothes that sort of fits everybody to some extent, but not real well. Or you can spend a little bit more money and you can have something that is a, tailor-made custom fit. And with technology, you're already spending a lot of money. So let's make sure that you're spending money in a way that gives you that custom fit instead of an outfit that you throw in the closet and never want to be seen in. Enough of that analogy. As we wrap up this season, I just want to, I have time and again mentioned how the Pomodoro habit has helped me. I think another one that is like right up there with a 1A and a 1B is the doing what you love, is going back and making sure that you regularly touch whatever that thing is that you do, that it gives you joy, whether it is a little bit of exercise, whether it is a specific type of project, whether it, whatever it is. And you don't have to do a lot. It's just a little, and especially because I've actually been through a season of being very, very busy, having a lot of stuff going on. But just that, 10, 15 minutes a day really does help, keep you sane, basically. Good things, bad things. I'm going to take it on a little bit of a higher level. Good thing is that we are wrapping up another season, that we have gotten through yet another season. This thing is this was originally just sort of a one-off kind of thing way back when I created the Developreneur website. And then later it became something I was like, hey, this could probably be a good little, podcast for a while. And now we are actually getting into the neighborhood of 1,000 episodes out there. And so, it's good that we have just continued on, that we're getting through another season, but it's also bad because we are wrapping up the season and we're going to have to dive into the next one. Another thing that's good is that I have a co-host on the other side. So I'm going to let Michael introduce himself.
Hey everyone, my name is Mike Meloche. I'm one of the co-founders of Developreneur, Building Better Developers. I'm also the founder of Envision QA, where we take the focus and detailed approach of test-driven development of testing code and apply it to building software and working with businesses and clinicians to really identify, walk through what it is your software is doing for you and helping you curtail, customize, or find the right tool to help your business grow. So this season, as we wrap it up, I kind of want to skip the good and bad and kind of just jump into how this season has really helped me for habits. As Rob said, a lot of the things that we started out with were very kind of interesting and important to us and also helped us grow as well. But the things that I've always had fun with that I never really thought of too much as a habit was like the kitchen sink app or things like the Pomodoro technique, which I still suck at, but it's currently, for me, depends more upon my situation, my daily situation, because sometimes I can be heads down focused. Sometimes I can follow the Pomodoro technique. And other times I'm better off if I just stay heads down for 2 to 3 hours and get it done. You just slog through the problem. You just get it done. Other things, that I got away from that this helped me kind of circle back on, it's like the automation. Uh, I found myself doing the same thing every day, and it's like, 3 lines of code in a script file just saved me 10 minutes a day, which, after 5 days is almost a full hour a week you get back. And that hour actually allowed me to get more stuff done. And then it kind of snowballed. I got a little bit more time back. So things like that were very helpful. And the other thing that, especially since our season kind of went through an election period as well, it helped with building habits to help with anxiety, and also, taking breaks, taking news breaks, walking away from things, how to talk to people, how to, work through meeting, take criticism, code reviews. As we get anxious and kind of frustrated, we can get hostile with our coworkers. We can take things the wrong way. And a lot of the habits we talked about this season really, by following the techniques we talked about and doing those challenges, helped me get back on track.
And I hope that that's a story that that resonates with a lot of you, is that this has been helpful for you. As I get all choked up because of this, um, I want to revisit a little bit, like, why do habits even matter? Why is it something that we care about? And it is because it actually goes back to like survival instinct and things like that. And it was a show I watched. It was now a couple years ago, but they were pitting adults versus children with solving problems. And there were different styles of problems that they had them solve. And in some cases, the adults smoked the kids. In some cases, the kids smoked the adults. And the interesting thing that came out of that when they were looking at some of the problems that are out there is that as adults, and actually just as human beings, as we evolve, we build shortcuts. We see things and see them often enough that they allow us to do them automatically, to skip through essentially the detailed process of analyzing it and instead just go straight to the end. It's basically like when you look at, if, for example, like if you had to do long multiplication or long division versus just knowing what the answer is. You can go through it. However, sometimes we learn that there are shortcuts. And that's what some of the habits are, is they are building some of those shortcuts. So it's things like, in a physical sense, it's often referred to as muscle memory. So it's, for example, if there's a golfer that's out there and they just swing and swing and swing and they hit 1,000 balls a day, they are building muscle memory so that they will, when they pull their arms back and swing it through, then it's going to be essentially the same motion, the same level of effort and energy exerted and stuff like that. That's what we want out of our habits, is we want to look at the things that we do on a regular basis, which for us it's things like writing code. It is interacting with our coworkers. It is designing systems. It is solving problems. And how do we find ways to do that better? And what we do is we build habits. We say this thing will be beneficial to us. And so we do it in a way that now it becomes automatic for us to do it. We don't have to think about it. And I think that's something that is on a meta level. You can look back. If you've gone through and picked even a handful of these challenges and these habits and tried to pick them up, the first thing is you have to remember to do it each day. So it is a little bit clunky or whatever, because you're like, oh yeah, I've got to put it on my to-do list, or I've got to remember to create a to-do list, things like that. But then what happens over time is that it becomes so natural that actually you feel uncomfortable not doing it. There are things where you'll get through the day and oh, I didn't do that. And you'll feel a little bit off because you're like, oh yeah, I didn't do that thing that is that habit that I have. And so I think that's really where the value of the habits are, is that it is us saying, it's sort of us, it is in effect automating our lives in a way. It's saying that this thing is very useful, and so I want to do it on a regular basis. I want it to just happen. I don't want to have to think about it, because then all of that, what it does is it reduces the cost of that. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to switch into that mode. You don't have to spend the extra time of documenting it or whatever it happens to be. You just do it. And that is where habits become highly valuable. And I think I'm going to stop there and throw that over to you and see what are your thoughts on some maybe a big lesson learned in going through this season.
Yeah, one of the biggest lessons learned, and I've touched on this in a couple different episodes, is habits are not something that happen overnight. These are things we have to work towards to make even small improvements. Now, the funny thing is, some of these small improvements can be huge improvements. Like I said, you automate three things and you get an hour back a week. That adds up over the course of a year. It's interesting, though, to me personally, why habits matter. It's because it's kind of a checklist on, am I doing things right? Am I doing things the right way? Am I able to keep moving that dial forward? Am I getting things done? If you find yourself asking yourself that a lot, or you get stressed and your head's down, and it's like, I'm buried under work, I can't get through things. Habits really are the answer to that. They're a way for you to focus and reset, to dig yourself out of being buried under work, being buried under life. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. It's not always that train, but baby steps get you closer. That like gets bigger. You keep moving, you keep moving, you keep moving. So as we've discussed the habits this season, other topics that come to mind for developers starting out, look at improving your coding skills. I talked about drinking from the fire hose. Sometimes it's better to not take a habit that is too restrictive too early on. Maybe turn up the fire hose, have more stuff thrown at you, but use, like Rob likes, the Pomodoro technique to spend maybe 15 minutes a day on like C sharp, 15 minutes a day on Java, 15 minutes a day on Python. Look at different languages if you're a coder. If you're like me, early on, I read almost every single tech book I could get my hands on because, spoiler alert, I was around before the internet. So we had to read books. We couldn't just turn on a computer and say, hey, where's this information? So I grabbed every single book I could get my hands on and found out very quickly there was things I did not understand or just really didn't float my boat. Like I did not like networking. Routers, switches, totally confused the crap out of me, didn't get it. But I found out very quickly I only found that out by reading different technical manuals, different books that were out there. When it came to programming, so a lot of the books out there at that time were like basic, were DOS, were uh, uh, like C++. Java was not even really out yet. It was still Elm, it's still Oak. And so it was a different world back then. And it was funny because I found out I liked math, but I didn't find that out till I made it to high school. So it's like we don't really know what we are supposed to do until we find what we're supposed to do. So the journey of the habit that I'm going to throw out there is, by improving coding skills, learn something new every day. Take one of these habits and apply it to trying something new. And that's going to help you figure out what it is that you want to do. So if you're struggling, not just with your job, but with life, but just trying to figure out where your place is on this planet, the best way to do it is to look at the habits we have. And why the habits matter? It's so that we can figure out what it is that we want, where we belong in this world, and what makes us happy. Habits will help you get there. And it kind of gives you that roadmap. It kind of gives you maybe not like here's A, here's B, here's how to get there, but it gives you the incremental steps that you need to figure it out in a structured way so you're not scattered, you're not overwhelmed, and it will get you there. You will find that just baby steps, we've said, we probably have overused the word getting it done, but it's just you have to keep taking a step forward in order to reach your destination. If you stand still and expect someone else to help you, someone might, but the world is going to pass you by and you're just going to be standing still. Nothing is going to change. You have to be the you have to be the take charge of your own destiny, and to do that you just have to start taking steps forward and use habits. Habits are the tools in your tool belt to get you there.
I cannot emphasize enough that is the biggest value right there. It is, and we've talked about taking something huge, something very big, and then breaking it down into something that is, something we can make progress on. Because, winning the Super Bowl is a big thing. It takes a long time to get there. You may, especially if you're a kid, but then it's like, okay, well, you start out and you practice and you do stuff, and then you join a team, and then you practice some more, and you win a game, and you win another game, and you win another game, blah, blah, blah. You get there eventually. With anything we do, it's the same way. There are steps that are made. There is no such thing as an overnight success. There were steps taken to get to that point. And so the sort of the big challenge I have in moving forward is figuring out what are your own challenges and habits that you want to build. Now, one that has been used in the past, an idea that I'm going to throw back out there again, is the idea of taking something big, like building a product, starting a business, starting a blog, starting a podcast, writing a book. Those things are in themselves pretty big. Getting a certification is there as well in a lot of cases. And so these are big, and they are rewarding, and they are actually very nice things to have on your resume. So if there's one of those that you haven't done, pick it. If it sounds interesting, if it hasn't appealed to you, if you don't want to write a book, then don't say, I'm going to write a book. But if it is like, it would be sort of cool to try, then try. And by try, I mean, start a habit. Do 5 minutes of writing a day, or 10 minutes of writing a day, or 15 minutes. There are, whatever your product is, whatever your goal is, there are going to be obstacles, but there are also a lot of people out there that have done it, and they will talk about, you can go find ways that you can incrementally get your way to that. Learning a new language, it may be as simple as like, I'm going to learn this command or that command, or I'm going to solve this problem in the language or that problem in the language, or I'm going to, read on this for a little bit, or I'm going to write this, do this automation in this new language, whatever it happens to be. There are essentially baby steps to everything. There are little steps that you can take towards anything that you want to do. And that is where I think this season will give you the biggest boost, is take a look at what we've done. We just sort of literally in almost every episode, right? And we're like, hey, here's a habit. Let's go talk about it. That kind of stuff. You can do this. We're not we're not magicians that are out there, somehow magically doing all this stuff. All you need to do is take a look at maybe your roadmap. What is your career roadmap? Where do you want to be? Like Michael said, you're at A, figure out a B that you would like to be at, and then spend a little time saying, well, what would it look like to be a little closer to that destination tomorrow, and a little closer the day after that? And now suddenly you've got something, you've got some incremental steps. And then what you want to do is, maybe the only habit is just taking a step each day, but maybe there's something around that that is going to help you. And that is where you're going to go. That's where I want to leave you with the final challenge for this season. Is the next challenge is, for the next 7 days, create a habit and spend 7 days working towards that habit. And then, of course, at the end of that time, shoot us an email and let us know how it went for you, because we would love to hear. We love feedback, even when it's from, episodes that haven't, that were posted years ago. We still want to hear the feedback. What do you like? What don't you like? Where would you like us to go next? Because we will be diving into another season. I believe it's 24 is now our upcoming season, which is just insane. Most podcasts don't make it to 24 episodes, much less 24 seasons, particularly when we've got a season or two out there that are a lot of episodes. I think we've got two seasons that are, 60 plus episodes per season. One maybe double that. So our seasons are a little bit off sometimes. That being said, I know we're a little bit off, but thank you so much for your time. Thank you for spending time with us in this season. We look forward to seeing you right around the corner when we start the next season. There's no break or anything like that going on. We're going to dive right into the next one. We're as excited as you are, and we are wondering as much as you are. What is it that we're going to do in that next season? Go out there and have yourself a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you next time. Closing thoughts.
So, if you are new, just starting out, or struggling to figure out where it is you're wanting to go, one of the interesting things you mentioned in your closing thoughts there, Rob, was do what you like to do. Uh, One of the things we did years ago, and I think this was maybe at the start of Developreneur, this may have been IT for recruiters or somewhere in between. We came up with the idea for launching an internet business. It was not launching an internet business at the time. It was just kind of learning software technologies, kind of learning tech, learning tools. And one of the things out of that we both kind of did was we built websites around hobbies. You did Blessing Not Stressing. I did Doctor Who. And at the time, Doctor Who was really popular. I'm still a huge Doctor Who fan, but there's been so many pauses between seasons, I got away from it, kind of got out of it. So due to time and cost, I had to shut the site down. But if you are into like Game of Thrones or video games and you just love talking to people about it, create a medium for yourself. Our launching an internet business little video series we have will show you how to stand up a website, how you can set up a blog, and you can just start playing with technology and just talking to people. Centralize your thoughts, build a site, and get started. That could be one of your habits. Hey, just set up a website where I can talk about my hobbies, talk about things I like to do, and go from there. I know that's self-promoting. Bill, you may not want to do that, but the funny part is we didn't really necessarily want to do that at the beginning, but it was like, hey, what if we did this? And then we found out we liked doing it, and it kind of blossomed into this. So small habits, small decisions have lasting impact. And you also find out if you like it or don't like it. Because there were some other things I stood up during the time that I found out very quickly weren't going to work for me. I didn't like them, and it felt like I was forcing it, like I was being being fake about it. So I turned it off. I got rid of it. These habits this season will help you figure it out.
I think that's a good place to wrap it up. I cannot emphasize enough. Take a look at some of our material. A lot of it is broken into 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day. If you don't like exactly what we're doing, it hopefully at least gives you a template to do it yourself. Again, appreciate so much your time and investing in us, and we look forward to giving you some value for your time as we step into the next season as well. Go out there and have yourself a great one, and we will talk to you next season.